As I said in my last two videos, I think the effort to cancel conservatives ultimately will backfire. At least it will fail. I am aware of the irony that I am attempting to use social media to criticize social media. That both reflects some of why social media companies have some of the power they do, and it also undermines my argument a little, assuming anyone actually sees this. Hopefully, as they decide whether or not to cancel or shadow ban me, some tech companies might watch this video and think about what they are doing. The Declaration of Independence expresses the desire of all people to be free. Oppression does not work well. We know that some Western entertainment is seen in North Korea. Certainly it is not widely seen, but even that oppressive government cannot fully quash an idea. Illicit copies of the Bible circulate in North Korea, Iran, and other countries where it is forbidden. Nobody likes being oppressed. We will find a way to get around efforts to censor and oppress certain ideas. I have long felt that alcohol, and to a lesser degree cigarettes, hold appeal to teenagers precisely because they are forbidden. My parents let me have tablespoon-sized servings of wine and beer. Alcohol never held much allure to me since technically it was never forbidden to me. However, my parents heavily restricted how many sodas I could have. Once I moved out on my own, I went crazy with my soda consumption precisely because it had been forbidden from me. For 2 years, I went to a school that mandated what food I could and could not eat during lunch. My parents were not allowed to pack me my own lunch as a workaround to those rules. Furious at these efforts to tell them what they could and could not feed their own children, my parents were generous with the junk food for those 2 years. I think I got Twinkies when I came home from school as an FU to the school for trying to restrict my parents. I've heard that a junk food ban in Los Angeles created a black market for junk food there. Ban something, cancel something, and we will want it more. Back in the 80s, the filmmaker Terry Gilliam screened his film Brazil when Universal Pictures was refusing to release it. I went to the screening precisely because this was a film Universal Pictures did not seem to want me to see. A few years later, the same film studio did release The Last Temptation of Christ, but many groups tried to boycott that film and force movie theaters not to show it. I went to see it precisely because so many people were trying to stop me from doing so. About 15 years ago, I saw a film called Ken Park because it was never released in the United States. Forbid it, and I want it. While The Last Temptation of Christ and Ken Park might not appeal to Christians and conservatives, I wanted to see them precisely because of efforts to prevent me from doing so. A couple of years ago, I saw the film Unplanned precisely because efforts were undertaken to stop or limit its release. Social media platforms suspended and shadow banned the film's promotion. I probably would not have seen that film if not for the efforts to keep me from doing so. My high school English teacher presented me with a list of edits I had to make to a paper I had written due to its controversial content. Aware I was being censored, 2 students paid me $10 each for copies of my uncensored essay. Efforts to censor me resulted in my first sales as a writer. Last week, we saw a far more established writer, Dr. Seuss, get canceled. What happened? Sales of his books soared. The 6 banned titles now sell for hundreds of dollars. Forbid something, and freedom-loving people will want it. Those currently trying to cancel and oppress conservatives may very well increase interest in conservatism. They will not kill off the ideas. They may encourage people to see and learn the ideas that others are working so hard to stamp out.